In May of this year, Saba launched their Saba-styled ambassador campaign, profiling 10 outstanding Australians as Saba-style ambassadors who are leaders in their field. There was an Instagram competition encouraging Australians to Saba-style themselves and post a personal portrait to win a $5,000 wardrobe. The strongest portraits were then shared through Saba's social channels as well as on live digital displays around the country. Saba is an Australian manufacturer and retailer of men and women's clothing apparel and is owned by the Apparel Group. The industry is extremely fragmented and highly competitive, with the top 4 industry players only accounting for less than 20% of revenue produced for the industry. Saba produces contemporary, confident, sophisticated clothing that is beautifully designed. They are a mid-range brand competing with the likes of Marks Clothing, French Connection, Country Road, and Witchery. Saba has traditionally targeted the middle youth segment, aiming for consumers between the age of 30 to 44 years who are working professionals and are somewhat brand and style conscious. However, they want to grow their attraction with the Gen Y or the millennials market, who are 20 to 30 years old, follow fashion trends closely, and spend a high proportion of their income on clothing. Millennials want to actively participate with brands. They are heavily influenced by their peers, and they are aspirational, driven, and ambitious. The key consumer insight here is millennials aspire to be future high achievers and leaders of their field, but they don't want to only act the part, they also want to look the part. The foot, cone, and building grid is useful in examining the level of consumer involvement for different product categories. Fashion apparel falls within the affective quadrant, and therefore this target audience are driven more by emotional appeals rather than rational appeals when making a decision. It is also interesting to consider what motivates this consumer group. As millennials are heavily influenced by their peers, they are most likely to be motivated by self-esteem needs, looking for recognition and status when purchasing fashion items. Saba also has various ethical and legal considerations, such as sustainable manufacturing processes, as well as adhering to the various advertising guidelines. The objective of the Saba-styled campaign was to grow attraction with the millennials, as well as realize a greater preference among existing consumers. The advertising strategy was twofold. First, to use brand awareness to create a brand perception that Saba is a brand for leaders and high achievers, and second was to gain new customers and maintain existing ones by providing inspirational but relevant content. Saba was able to use the hierarchy of effects model to evaluate the effectiveness of the campaign, using the awareness and knowledge stages as benchmarks for attracting new customers, and the preference to purchase stages as benchmarks for increasing preference among existing customers. The market segmentation was based on demographic and psychographic characteristics, first segmenting by age, then segmenting by lifestyle and personality. The aspirational segment that emerged helped develop the consumer insight and subsequently the campaign's big idea, living a life less ordinary in style. As the clothing apparel industry is highly competitive, it is extremely difficult to develop a unique selling position. However, the brand positioned itself within the market based on attributes and quality. The campaign revolved around the theme of celebrating the makers, creators, and doers of the world that inspire the brand and their individual style and stories. This theme was also reflected in the message strategy statement. Saba used brand personality to be able to convey this message. The campaign used an emotional appeal, specifically calling to the importance of status and recognition for our target audience, and was executed through the use of strong imagery of the ambassadors and accompanying life stories. From a semiotics perspective, there were several implicit meanings in the campaign imagery about status, achievement, and quality. Using beautiful black and white portraits, the ad draws and holds the attention of the consumer, as it was a striking and unusual campaign for a fashion brand. Overall, the creative approach was very effective, and its success is demonstrated by the thousands of Saba Instagram followers who have posted portraits of themselves. However, the creative strategy could have been strengthened by choosing ambassadors that were more related to this younger consumer market. As this campaign is designed to target millennials, various online media channels were used, as well as shopper-like digital displays in key locations. This is supported by the fact that this demographic had the highest social media and digital device penetration of any age group. Instagram was also an appropriate choice as it has the highest level of user engagement than any other social platform. Choosing predominantly digital media did not exclude consumers outside of the millennial bracket. Gen X are also avid users of social media, and the use of the digital displays also helped raise awareness with a wider audience. A third cost-effective channel to promote the campaign could have been a blog dedicated solely to Saba style, which could profile different incredible Australians who also live a life less ordinary. This could have been used to further engage the target audience using interesting content about people who inspire them,